Hello everybody. Welcome to another live stream. I can't hear myself. That is so weird. Whoa. Why can't I hear myself? Oh, my camera's frozen. Of course it's frozen. Oh, I hate this camera so much. There we go. Hello everybody. I don't know why can't I hear myself? This is really weird. Hello. There's something, but I can't hear myself. What's going on here? Why can't I hear myself? Oh. Go XLR froze, didn't it? Does this work? Oh, it's still working. Why can't I hear myself? That's so weird. Huh. Hello, DM. Yes, I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about me. I can't hear myself. But hello, the friggin' thing, it froze again. I hate this camera so much. Merle, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. What is up with this camera?
35 months.
35? Are you serious? What is going on with this? Wow, this it's a bad start to the stream. Okay, we win. Hello, nice to see you. I'm good. How are you, DM? Merle, thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay, why can't I hear myself though? I should hear myself in my headphones. Is it something about this? No, but I'm hearing everything else. Huh. Hello? No. Is it? No, that should be fine. Oh man, I've missed all of you too. If you guys check TikTok in a couple of minutes, it's still uploading. But if you guys check... why is the camera doing that? Stop it. If you guys check TikTok in a couple minutes, you'll see a video that I posted. It's got a couple of clips from the show, actually. Okay, what if I do this? Will that stop it from, like, freaking out, maybe? I don't know. We'll see in a second. Okay, what is going on with my Go XLR here? Is it... No, is it here? Is this the problem? No. Okay, if I turn it... Oh, something else is wrong, because I can hear, like, a bass sound in my headphones, but I don't actually hear what's happening. So, hello, testing. Okay, no, something's gone on. Whoa, I almost spilled it. What if I plug it directly in? Hello? Oh, this thing broke. Lame. I just bought this and it broke already. Oh, the camera froze again. Damn it. DM, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate that. Why did this thing break? I almost spilled my drink again. How many times do you think it's gonna happen before I actually spill it? Oh. Okay, so the hissing thing is broken. That's lame. Okay, well, now I can hear myself this way. Okay, hello everybody. I'm so sorry for the disheveled beginning of the stream. I really appreciate you all being here and that you're all having a good day. I'm hoping that you're all having a good day. My TikTok should be... It's up. Let's just see if you guys will see it any second. We'll find out. Yeah, it's been live for a few seconds. So it just kind of... The TikTok that I made just kind of walks you through my day when I was doing the theater thing. So you can kind of see what it's like when I get up and get ready and go to the theater and doing our little sound check. And then I threw in a couple of clips from the show just so you can kind of see what the show was like. And yeah, now I'm all clean shaven. I look so different. I went like 3 weeks with that mustache, right? So I feel really different. And like with the comb over hair, because I just did my hair that way pretty much every day since I was at the theater, almost every day. It was quite a different change for my life. Jer, how's it going? How are you? Just twice more than the drink spills? Okay, I'm gonna try really hard not to. I spilled my drink at the other computer yesterday. I got it all over my desk and everything. It didn't touch anything, thankfully, and the Mac was in a dock and it wet the dock but not the Mac itself, so everything is still working, thank God. Oh, an anonymous gifter gave the... Oh, thank you. Who did it? It just says anonymous. Thank you so much for whoever did that. But yeah, so for those who haven't been around, I haven't been around for about 3 weeks now. I was in a musical. And 3 weeks ago, we started our Tech Week, which, for those who don't know anything about theater, Tech Week, basically what happens is you rehearse in a special space for the whole time you're getting ready for the show. And then on the final week, you actually head to the theater and start practicing on the stage. So you only get about 7 days to practice on the stage. And in those 7 days, you have to prepare all the lighting. You have to prepare where we're standing to make sure we stand in the right spot for the light. We have to prepare the band. We have to prepare our costumes. And we have to make sure that we're actually doing things the way that we're supposed to, since the stage is always slightly different than the place you practice. So that week was just a nightmare. So I didn't do much because I was just so busy trying to get the whole thing going. I was at the theater like every day, and I had zero energy. And then the last 2 weeks we were running the show. And so I streamed last week, but we finally finished the show on Sunday, and I took yesterday and the day before off because it's just been exhausting. I was completely drained. I'm broke, so I need to stay anonymous. We win. But thank you, we win. So that's kind of where I've been. And today was the first day that I actually had a chance to sit down. I was later than I wanted because I wanted to post that TikTok before it was too late. And that's been kind of what's been going on. It's been a really wild ride. I made some really awesome friends. One person became like one of my best friends in the whole world now. And I love her to death. And a bunch of really good things happened over the last week. I don't want to go into too much details, but Weewin knows, and so does Merle. But yeah, it's been life-changing, to say the least. But if you want to check TikTok, I have the video. It should be up and visible now. Like, you should be able to see it. Yeah, it's got 33 views, so it's live and visible if you want to take a look at what it's like when I'm doing my whole theater thing. And I had another audition last week, and I did it, and I actually landed the lead role in the show, but my brother had to get rid of somebody at work, so I had to take some time off from like doing stage stuff because I just don't have enough time. I have to work more. But one of the professional actors in our area is going to be directing Rent next year. And so I'm hoping to audition for Rent if I can get everything settled with my brother at work. And that's going to be really exciting if that happens, because I would love to do Rent again. I don't know what I would get because, kind of depends on what he's looking for, but I'm going to go buy a guitar later and get back into playing guitar because that is going to be an asset for that show for Roger, and I would really like to be Roger. So hopefully that'll work out and I can audition for that show. That would be incredibly exciting. And then, yeah, that's kind of where I am right now. And it'll go back to being as busy as I was. So streaming I have to figure out a schedule that'll work so I can continue to stream while rehearsing. And Rent is going to be far more intense. So if I end up doing Rent, then we'll see what happens, basically. Ty, how's it going, man? How are you? You are not in the know, Ty. You are not in the know. Give me just a second because this fan is driving me nuts. Hey, Michael Jackson, how you doing, man? I'm doing well. Just here hanging out. I'm gonna switch cameras because I don't want to keep looking sideways the whole time. So let me switch cameras here. Let's turn this one on. That's a bit better. I don't want to have to keep looking sideways the whole time to talk to everybody. Woo, it's way overexposed. What am I gonna use? This? Oh, I can't do it that way. Huh. Hey, I don't know who that was, but thank you. Tara, 27 months. Holy crap. 27 months. Tara, I hope you're doing really well. Okay, I guess I can... I don't want to say too much because I don't want to, jinx anything. But... let me switch the TikTok camera first. But Ty, I didn't tell you, not because you're not deserving, because you did come and you were ready with the panties and everything. I just didn't say anything because we're bros, and talking about emotional stuff doesn't always come easy that way. And we've never really talked about that kind of stuff, but you all know about my crush from the show, right? Ty, the Doralee, the blonde wig actress, crush from the show. You all know that things were kind of awkward for a really long time because at first I thought she was way younger than me. I thought she was like 24, 25 maybe. Turns out no, she's 31. But she wouldn't talk to me. And it was really weird because I had to do things like grab her and like straddle her and stuff. Ty can attest to the things I had to do. And so it was really awkward for me because I was trying to build a friendship with her and she just didn't have the time of day for me. And then, you know, I started to kind of get a crush on her and I had to do all these things as like this pervert and she wouldn't talk to me. And it was really, really awkward. So it was kind of, it was weird for a while. But then we finally clicked. We finally started talking and we started to get to know each other. And I got a lot closer to her. There's a whole story around this. So I have to go back. But like her and I became friends and we became really close. And Catherine, who played the lead in the show, like the star of the show, her and I were like inseparable. We were like best friends. And so then Kendra joined in and we were like a little trio. Actually, hold on, because there's so much to this story that you need to know. We became a little trio, and so like that's us hanging out backstage. All three of us just like chilling out. That night they weren't performing; they were just doing backup vocals, and I was performing. So I'm in costume, and they're just like hanging out backstage singing backup vocals. No one liked that part. No one liked that part. I've seen those movies. Oh man, he didn't throw them, Wee-Win. He didn't. He was too enthralled in my acting abilities. So we became friends. Everything was great. All three of us were just like this inseparable little trio. We were always together. So here's a side story that leads into what's been going on. So backstage, you have a bunch of crew people, right? And this show was a fairly big show with a lot of cast, a lot of props. And so we had a prop person on each side of the wings, like on each side of the stage. And we had an assistant stage manager on each side of the stage. And then we had 2 stage hands on each side. So it was a lot of people backstage. The props masters were in charge of giving us our props and putting away our props, making sure everything was where it's supposed to be. Like I get tied up in the show and they had 5 separate ropes that we had to use throughout the show. And so the props master had the 5 ropes and they would hand them to me. I'd hand them back at the end. And it was great. But the prop master was this young woman who wasn't necessarily aware of social interactions. Like I'm autistic, but damn, I look neurotypical compared to her inability to read social interactions. And I'm not saying that to belittle her or make fun of her. I'm just using myself as a reference. I'm kind of awkward. I felt awkward around her because of how awkward she is. She would constantly try to like start conversations with me. She would go to the other side of the stage to ask me a question when she could have asked one of the other 8 actors that were on her side. She would randomly do the whole like, can I have a hug? And I would always find an excuse not to because I was just so uncomfortable with her wanting a hug because I didn't know her. When I first met her, I was nice, I was friendly, and she always she wouldn't listen to what I was saying. And it was really frustrating having a conversation with her because like she asked me what I did for a living and I was like, well, I run a cleaning company with my brother. Hello, Buckmain, how you doing? It's been a minute. How are you? 27 months is a long time. Buckmate, thank you for the fire. And so, because they make me awkward, but because they're awkward, they make me respond more awkwardly. And so she would ask me for hugs and I'd be like, no, I'm not comfortable. She wouldn't listen to me. She was like, I was telling her that I run a cleaning business with my brother. And she'd be like, oh, I work in healthcare, because I had mentioned that I worked in healthcare before. I was talking to a group and she was just listening. And then she's like, oh, I work in healthcare too. I know a lot of seniors who need their homes cleaned. And I was like, I don't clean homes. I run an industrial cleaning company. And then she's like, yeah, but they can give you so much money. Like you can earn so much because there's so many people. I was like, yeah, but I don't do homes. She's like, yeah, but they really need your help. I'm telling you, that's not what my business is. I don't clean homes. So it was already kind of frustrating talking to her because she just wouldn't listen. So the show is running and everything, and she's always trying to like get hugs from me, and she always is trying to talk to me and stuff. And she's nice. She's just awkward. Well, when she asked me for a hug for the first time, that's when I was like, ooh, now I'm feeling really uncomfortable. But then it started to get really frustrating because she would ask me questions that I had nothing to do with. And I was like, don't ask me. I'm one of the leads of the show. I have a lot on my plate. I have a lot that I need to do. I don't need you asking me questions that I don't know the answer to. Especially when like I'm about to go on stage. Like I would walk upstairs because for one part of the show I have to wear like a onesie, and she would like question why I'm wearing a onesie. And I'd be like, because that's my costume. It's not your responsibility to know what I'm wearing. Like, stop asking me questions. I'm about to go on. And so like it was frustrating. Well, closing night, they would gag me at the end of the show, and I would wear the gag until the very end when we were done. And so I would take the gag off and hand it back to the props master. And she came down to get my gag, and it was not closing night. It was the night before closing night, and it was a 2-show night. And on the first show, I was the lead, and the second show, Ian was the lead. And so she came down after my run and asked for the gag, and I gave it to her. She goes, "You're supposed to have 2 gags." I was like, "Nope, I just have 1." And she's like, "Well, where's the blue one?" I was like, "You guys lost it, so I don't know." She goes, "We don't have it." I was like, "Yep, because you guys lost it. I don't know where it is." And then she's like, "Well, I was supposed to get 2 of them." I was like, "Yep, but I don't have the other one, so I don't know where it is." And I just walked away from her because by this point I was fed up, so I just walked away from her. Ian does his show in the evening, and then she comes and asks me for both gags again. And I'm like, "I gave you the brown one." She goes, "No, you didn't." I'm like, "Yes, I did. You came down here, asked me for 2 gags. I told you you guys lost one of them, and I had the other one, and I handed it to you." She goes, "No, you didn't, and you have to have the blue one." I was like, "I don't have the blue one, and you took the brown one." And then I just walked away. Like that's how forceful I was with her, akin to yelling to her, yelling at her, and I left. And we were getting our stuff packed up, and the 2 girls were telling me that they couldn't stand her because she was really rude to them. She was really mean to them. And they had argued with her before, and Catherine had yelled at her. And so it was, what's going on? What's going on? Inca Raids! Thank you for the sub, dude. How are you? I took a green one by accident, not the blue one. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Ankara 1, serious Ankara 1, serious Ankara 1, serious Ankara 1, serious Ankara 1.
Sorry.
Ankara 1, serious.
Okay, you guys can hear that, right? Oh, my mic is doubled, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay, that's better. Ian's in chat, so Ian's gonna understand exactly what I'm talking about. So, the girls were telling me that she's being really mean to them, and they're now rude to her too, and they're just so frustrated with her. They're fed up. They can't wait for it to be over because they just can't deal with her anymore. And so I make a passing joke saying, "Well, she likes me, so she's never mean to me." Boy, do I regret saying those words, because I went home, and obviously I'm having a hard time sleeping because the next night was closing night, and I was really upset that like everything was done and I didn't want it to be done, and so I had a bit of a hard time going to bed. I start to doze off, and then I forgot that I needed to let the other theater company know that I wouldn't be able to do the role if they had given it to me. So I wanted to kind of email them beforehand and be like, "Hey, just don't even consider me because I'm not going to be able to." Unfortunately, they had already given me the role by the time I saw the email. It was too late, so I had to kind of turn it down at that point, and that was hard. Anyway, so as I'm scrolling through my emails, I see a name that I don't recognize, and it starts off with like, "I just want to congratulate you on your show and the videos that you made. You're so talented. I would like to talk about your filmmaking and your acting." My thinking is that it's somebody who wants to hire me to like make a video for them, or maybe they want to do some kind of a job together, not hire me in particular, but like maybe collaborate somehow. And then the email continues. It continues with, hold on, where is it? That wasn't, I have a response because I finally responded, but it continues with, come on, go back. Where are you? There it is. "I'm reaching out to see if you would like to chat sometime about film and theater. I know you're really busy, but however, I would really like to get to know you. I'm shy, so it's not easy for me to approach you, and maybe you could show me some of your work. P.S. I know that I'm not part of the cast, but I am definitely worth getting to know." The props girl asked me out immediately after I yelled at her. I don't know how maybe it's a kink, and I'm not going to kink shame, but I don't know how she took me yelling at her and walking away while she was mid-sentence as an open invitation to ask me out. So that was really awkward because then closing night I had to deal with being there with her and trying to avoid her the whole time. So freaking awkward. Ian knows. So freaking awkward. She's a nice enough girl, but damn. But what made it even worse was Ian knows the two girls that I got really close with. The ongoing rumor was that I was involved with at least one of them. And she had seen this too. That's why she was mean to the two women in the show, because the props girl was jealous. I don't know how she didn't at least assume, like everybody else had, that something was going on. It was really awkward. So I avoided her like the plague for the whole night. The only interchange we had was when I needed to get the ropes from her and the gun that I use on set. Outside of that, I avoided her like the plague. Even closing night party, I avoided her like the plague. She actually came and sat at my table at the closing night party. She was sitting at a different table. She came and sat at my table. And like, it was like, honestly, Yasemin, I wouldn't have been so cold with her if she hadn't been so pushy and argumentative. Because I get it. You know what? I'll give her this. She shot her shot. She is braver than I've ever been. Because goddamn, I yelled at her and she still shot her shot. So like, good on her for that. But just no. Because like, I was really affectionate with the two girls in the show in front of everybody. And so like, that just either shows that she is really, really not aware of her surroundings, or she has invented some kind of relationship we had together, which we didn't, or she just didn't care that there could be potentially something going on with me and one of these women, because she was more interested in like me. I don't know. But we hadn't really interchanged any conversation. I had never really been extra nice to her in any way. I was nicer to like the other people on the other side, because like the girl that ran the like all the tech stuff on the other side of the stage, like I'd hug her, we would chat, she'd come and check on me. Like if she asked me out, I'd be like, okay, I kind of get it, because like I've been nice to you and we've been hugging and stuff. But like the one on the other side, it's like, I've never hugged you, I've never touched you, I've never like said more than like 2 words to you. Did you not see me with the other girls? Like they're giving me kisses and like we're holding hands and stuff. Like it was so awkward. It was so awkward. Yeah, stage left was amazing. Stage left was the best. Yeah, theater wives. And that was the funny thing, is it started with Catherine. Ian knows. It started with Catherine. Somebody came up and they're like, so like, are you guys a thing? Catherine's like, no, I'm married. And so then some people assumed that she was having an affair, which completely inaccurate. Her and I she happened to just like fit perfectly into my life in a way that nobody else has in like over a decade. You know Dina, Ian. Dina was the last one that fit like that. So we got along immediately. And she was able to kind of be there for me for things that I was kind of struggling to see, if that makes sense. Like, I've been on this whole journey of like self-discovery over the last couple of years. And there were things that I knew, like this was the final point, this is what I needed, but I didn't know how to get there. And she kind of switched my thinking through conversation. She would just like give me a different perspective about the same thing, and then it just suddenly would click. So she really became a very, very good friend. But some people assumed we were having a thing. More aware people realized that I was head over heels over my Dora Lee, which was Kendra. And I thought I was hiding it, but apparently I wasn't, because somebody that saw the show made a comment saying that like it was really obvious that I was into her, even in character. So obviously I didn't do that good of a job. So going back to the gossip, which is what Ty is asking about right now. After the after party, they came to my house. Both Kendra and Catherine came to my house, and then I let Kendra know how I feel, and we agreed to hang out a bit and see what happens. That's what I'll say. I don't want to jinx anything, but we're gonna get to know each other. So cool. I guess. I didn't see that coming out. That wasn't on my bingo card. Day at a time. That's it, man. That's it. Dina is great. I still love her to death. We just don't talk anymore. We kind of just run in different circles, so I don't see her anymore. But yeah, Dina and Rob, I love them to death, and I will do anything for them. And that's what I was telling Catherine one day. I was like, there will be a time where her and I will stop talking for whatever reason, whether like life just gets in the way or we just don't see each other or whatever. But any day she calls, I will be there. Just like Dina and Rob, any day they call, I will be there, whether I've seen them or not in years, It was very interesting. Yeah, she is, she's an artist through and through, Ty. She is like a 100% artist through and through. I used to be a lot closer to how she is, where like I was really, really delicate with my voice. I wasn't as delicate as her, but I also was not an opera singer. So my voice was more utilitarian. Hers is more like a fine instrument. And so I didn't care for my voice the way she does, but I was definitely way, way more delicate. I would do like big stretches before going to a show. I would do huge warm-ups before going to a show. I was constantly singing all the time. Now I don't do any of that, but she's very, very specific about what she does. But yeah, she was so nervous about that takeover. Hello, Nikki. How are you? Steffi, how are you? How long have you been listening, Steffi? But yeah, Ian, one day at a time. That's what it takes. And that's kind of the approach I've taken, just one day at a time. I had to let her know that I liked her because I figured there's a really good chance I'll never see her again, because there are people that I've done shows with that you can kind of just tell that it's like, this is a one-time thing and I'm probably never going to see them again. Not like romance in any way. I'm talking like, they don't live in town and they just really wanted to do this one specific show, so they came out for it. So the odds of actually seeing them again, probably not very high. Or like they're about to move away and you're not going to see them again, like that kind of thing. And I got that vibe from her too. And so I was like, I might, like, if I yelled at somebody and they still had the cojones, like DM says, if they still had the cojones to ask me, then why wouldn't I take a shot with somebody who I actually really got along with? And I mean, it resulted the way that I wanted. We're going to spend time outside of the show together. That was like the only thing I wanted, was just like, I'd like to spend time together and get to know you, because obviously when you're in the theater environment, things are very different because you're together every single day. And you're under a lot of stress. So you're kind of supporting each other the whole time. Cause like Ian and I would talk backstage and, he'd calm me down when I was getting all stressed out. Cause Ian's always like, I don't care what happens. And I would always be like, oh my God, there was no sound. But we support each other and we get close. And so like, I was like, I want to spend time with you outside of this environment so I can get to actually know you. You know what I mean? And so took my chance and it was cool. Sad Chicago fan, how's it going? How are you? Was Ian the guy who played the accountant? No, Ian was the guy that played my character when I wasn't playing my character. So Ian also played Hart, and then he would be in the background when I was Hart, and then when he was Hart, I would be in the background. What is going on with my audio? Yeah, so Ian and I were the interchange characters. Yeah, and that's it, Ian. I really got to know Kendra over the last few weeks. I really got to know Catherine over the last few weeks, and I really like both of them. And I really would like to continue a friendship with both of them anyway. But yeah, I liked Kendra a little bit differently. I guess that's what I can say. Ian is on TikTok. He's chatting on TikTok. But yeah, Ian's fiance Steph, she was involved in a lot of the social media stuff. She's the one that runs the social media channel for the theater company. And so like I got to know her too. She's such a sweet girl. I got to know her too because she was doing photos and stuff and I was doing the videos, and so like we got to chatting because of all that. And theater people are cool people, man. I hadn't done it in so long, and the last few shows that I did, it just wasn't the same, but I wasn't in the right place. It wasn't that the companies that I did stuff with was no good or the people were no good. It was I wasn't in the right headspace, and I wasn't able to kind of become part of the theater family, and I did with this show, and it was I forgot how much I love theater people. Theater people are awesome. It's so much fun. Ian, I'm gonna read it to you because it's not popping up on the TikTok screen, but Ty, who came to the show, he came to the show opening night. Ty says, Ian, Retro says he can fight you in a fight. Yeah, right, man. Ian has one of these things. He's got an inability to feel pain. Me, on the other hand, I gave myself a little cut on my leg, and I was bitching about it for the whole show. I have a picture of it, I think. The desk that I sat in had this weird like drawer on the left, and as I would turn to the left to get out to walk down to the front of the stage as I would sing my number. Did I take a picture of it? No, I didn't. Dang it. And I turned the one night, but the chair was in the wrong position when I sat down on it. And when I turned right into the corner of the desk, and I like sliced my leg open to clean up the blood. I didn't steal the blue one. I stole the green one. Celebrity deathmatch, heart versus heart. and Chimmy will sing the song, heart to heart. But yeah, so that was the gossip, Ty. That was the gossip that you were not involved in. But yeah, it was an interesting run. It was a really challenging show for me. It was a really, really challenging show. Mainly, this headphone thing. Oh, it's working now. Mainly because I came to the realization of how much of my talent I lost. And that was really hard to deal with. That was incredibly hard to deal with. And for the last 2 years, I've been alone. Not just like single alone. I mean like alone. Right? Like, I lived in a house with somebody who like didn't even acknowledge my existence. Like I would walk in and ask a question and they would just ignore me like I didn't exist. So I could go literal days without talking to people because at that time in particular, I was working alone too. So I would get up and like on a day I wouldn't stream. I would get up and then I'd talk to nobody all day. And then I'd go to work and talk to nobody all night and then come home and get up and do it again. So I would go literal days without actually making any noise with my voice. So I went from like complete and absolute like aloneness. I don't want to say loneliness, but it was like aloneness to being in a show with like 20 plus people, half of whom I had never met before. Doing things with a woman that I was, growing a crush with and like not knowing how to like interact with that situation, working with Ian, who's been doing this and is just naturally talented, and I'm struggling to even keep up with what he's doing. Meanwhile, I find out that I'm losing my hearing. I don't have the vocal range I used to have. My vocal tone just isn't there, and then I tear my vocal cords. It was a rough show for me. I had a really hard time. But the group of people that were there were the most supportive, awesome people. They never once made me feel like my inabilities were a hindrance to the show. They never once made me feel like I was letting them down in any way. And then the show came together and it was really, really fun. Yeah, so it was a wild roller coaster. And then it ended closing night in the best way possible. So that was the other irony. The stage prop girl that asked me out, like I was affectionate with Kendra and everybody could see it, and she was affectionate with me, and like she would hold my hand backstage and like she would give me kisses on the cheek and she'd like hug me and stuff, and we would just stand there watching the next scene and she'd just be hugging me with the prop girl right next to us or behind us. Like it wasn't like we were hiding it in like a back room. She was right there watching. And even at the closing party, Kendra was sitting with me, and at this point Kendra knew what was going on, so she was like playing it up, because she knew I was too scared to like reject this girl, because I don't do well with confrontation. And so like, Kendra was like leaning into me and like we were holding hands and stuff, and this girl still tried to like grab my hand as I was leaving. I was like, what are you doing? Like at least assume that her and I are dating, like come on. Yeah, it was weird. It was really weird. That girl just made me so uncomfortable. Like, so uncomfortable. I get it, ladies. I get it. I get it now. Holy crap. It was so uncomfortable. But I finally gave her, I sent her a rejection email. I am very proud of this rejection email. I think it's a very nice rejection email. Because I know that I'm hoping that I'll have the ability to audition for Rent. And if I do, I know she's probably going to be involved. And I really didn't want to just leave her hanging and have her continue pursuing this. So I emailed back. I'm like, hello, sorry for the delay. I get 100 emails a day, so I hadn't seen yours until now, which is not really a lie. It's a lie because I had seen it earlier, but it's not a lie because I do get like 100 emails a day. I really appreciate you reaching out with such a nice compliment, because she was talking about how I'm a good actor in my videos and stuff. It's really nice working with you too, and I want to thank you for all the help that you provided. It was really appreciated. In regards to the rest, damn it, get out of here. Why does this keep popping up? I hate that thing. In regards to the rest of your email, I'm really flattered that you want to spend time getting to know me, but I'm sorry if there was some sort of misunderstanding, because I thought you were aware that I'm currently involved with somebody. So out of respect to Kay, I'm going to politely decline. I hope you understand and that there are no hard feelings, and I'm looking forward to the next time we work together. Take care of yourself, and thank you again. And that was it. I left it at Kay because Catherine and Kendra, and that was like the assumption, and I wanted to keep that mystery alive. But like, but I had to be, dude. I didn't want her to take anything that I said as a potential cracked open door. I wanted to make it very clear that I was like, no, without being a douche about it. I wanted to be like, we ain't doing this, but without her kind of being like, well, but he kind of said it in a way that maybe, total business, you know what I mean? Rejection email. Rejection email because she emailed me first, and I didn't want to do it face to face because I had a show to do with her. And then by the time the show was done, all I was worried about was saying goodbye to my two friends, because they had become really important in my life. Everybody else was really important in the show as well, but everybody else, I'm sure I'm going to see them at some point or another. But Kendra and Catherine, I don't know when I'm going to see them again. And so like, I was really more preoccupied with spending time with them. And so like, I didn't want to deal with rejecting this girl and having to deal with her and whatever outcome that would lead to, whether she would get like all humiliated and make me feel really bad, or she would get really angry and take it out on me. I just didn't want to deal with that. So I was like, I'll just wait and I'll email her back. And then I tried to make it like as official sounding as possible, because I didn't want to give her any kind of feeling like I was doing it only because I'm with somebody else and that's it. But more of like, hey, there is nothing here, but I have to work with you again eventually. So I do not want you to like hold any grudges. You know what I mean? You didn't know about the email till way later closing night. Yeah, I tried not to say much about it because I didn't want to be awkward backstage. But like, the first thing I did was run to Kendra and Catherine. I was like, look at this. And then I'm sure word spread and people heard and stuff. I don't know if she told people too, but I was just like, I didn't know how to approach it. I really didn't, like, because it was one of those things like I had to do the rest of the show with her. And I don't know her. I don't know how she's going to react, right? Like, what if I rejected her and then she just decides suddenly my props are just missing, right? Or she just decides to like get super emotional backstage. I didn't want to deal with that. So I was like, I'm just going to ignore it and not approach that in any way. But then last night I was like, I feel bad not giving her some kind of response, because like, she's still a person, she still deserves respect. She just doesn't, she hasn't earned a date with me. That sounds so douchey to say. No, she's just not somebody I want to get to know. But I know she works at with that company, and I don't want to have the issue of having to work with her again and deal with that again. So I needed to say something. So I tried to make it sound like as disconnected as possible while still being as nice as possible, because I didn't want to like make it out to be like, you fucking loser, I don't want to date you. I didn't want it to be like that either. So I tried to make it like as disconnected, but still being as kind as possible while responding. Because like I said, good on her for taking a shot. You know what? I don't ever take my shot. I always get scared. And I yelled at her and she took her shot. So like she's way gutsier than I will ever be. But honey, you read the room wrong. Because even if like I didn't have any kind of like crush on Kendra or anything, everybody assumed something was going on. So like, you know what I mean? Like if there was somebody else that I was interested in the show, I would have completely wrecked my chances with them because of Kendra and Catherine. So like this, it was just really weird. It was just really weird. It was such a weird situation, you know? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, Catherine. I didn't even realize that you were there. I didn't even realize that because you're both using the black and white headshot. So I thought it was just Ian. Yeah, no, the props would have been gone. No, the props would have been there. You two would have been missing. Like, it was so weird, you know? Please see the attached statement from my lawyers. That's literally what it was. Ty, Ian, Catherine, Ty, who came to see the show, says that this whole situation reminds him of the Chimmy scene where I walk in and Ian would walk in and we would turn around and run out. That's literally what it was. That's literally what it was. Like, oh my God, you're so right, dude. That's literally what it was. Oh my God, oh my God, even my reactions. Because like I was joking with Catherine, I was setting up the camera before the final run and she was like standing there at the stage and we had to walk by her. And I look at Catherine, I'm like, quick, make out with me. She's like, I'm not jumping on that grenade. I was like, come on, please help me. Like, that was literally, that was the same reaction. That is literally what I was like emoting on stage when I would run off. For those who didn't see the show, most of you who didn't see the show, there is a number in the show where Mr. Hart, the character Ian and I played, his secretary is like absolutely obsessed with him and just doesn't understand why nobody likes him. And he's a complete D-bag, hence the mustache I had. And then she sings a whole romantic number about how much she loves him, but it's a very sexualized romantic number. And then we blocked it in a way that Mr. Hart walks in at the end of the number as she's like swinging around his jacket in like a very silly way. And then he kind of freezes and it's just like, oh God, what did I just see? And run off. That was literally the feeling I had when, oh my God, you're so right, Ty. You are so right. Oh my God. The show was 9 to 5, the Dolly Parton musical. It was the 9 to 5 musical. Yeah, it was, I'm glad she waited till the very end of the show. I wish she would have waited till after closing night, because that was really uncomfortable. I still enjoyed closing night immensely, and she didn't take away from it too much, but she still took away from it a little bit, because I was so self-conscious the whole time I was on that side of the stage. And for the second half of the show, that's where I spend most of my time, is on that side of the stage. It was really uncomfortable. It was really, really uncomfortable. I wish you would have waited another day. You did pay attention, Ty. And that's it, DM. That was it. Like, I had to give her the respect that she took a shot. Good on her. It's not easy. Like I said, I've chickened out a billion times about taking a shot. You can ask Catherine. The amount of conversations we had, of all the panic that I was feeling. But like, she shouldn't have taken that shot. She just shouldn't have taken the shot. There were other people in the show that I would have like understood if they took a shot, you know, because I was friendly with them, hugs and stuff like that. But like, girl, you were like the last person on my mind. I talked to you less than almost every other person involved in the show, in any way. And even like just because I'm not in the cast, I'm still worth getting to know. I feel like she potentially meant that more in you know, you haven't gotten to know me because we're not in the same clump of people. But it really came off in you think you're better than me because you're an actor, but I am just as interesting. It was just a very like self-defeating, but also defensive approach. And like, I don't see crew as any less than an actor, because the crew is the one that makes sure I have everything I need, and without them I am screwed. So like, hence why I didn't want to reject her, because they are important people in the show. And so like, that just felt really off to me, and I hadn't really paid attention to that line because I didn't read that. As soon as like, because it was a PS, right? As soon as like I saw the end of the email, I didn't read past her name. So I didn't see it until Catherine pointed it out, and then I read it and I was like, oh, yeah, that's kind of aggressive. But yeah, I had to give her the respect that she took her shot. I'm too scared to take my shot. I did anyway, because damn it, if she did it, I could do it. But like, damn. At the same time, like, I just don't have the heart to be like that. You know, maybe if this was like 15 years ago, I was conceited enough to be like, I'm not even going to email her. But I don't have the heart to do that anymore. And I've been not only rejected, but I've been like mocked for liking somebody by the person that I liked. That like, I know the feeling, and that really sucks. And I didn't want her to feel that way, but I wanted her to be clear that I'm just not interested, you know? The ropes did keep getting shorter. It was so frustrating. I wish they were thicker. I just wanted thicker ropes. But yeah, it was an interesting run. The show itself was riddled with tech issues. There were a lot of tech issues in that show. But the show was still really good. It was really fun. I had a lot of fun. That is harsh. Yeah. Yeah, it was just everything would have ended perfectly had that not happened. Because I'm torn in how I feel about her sending me that email. Because part of me is just like, the mean part of me finds it hilarious that she really did that, right? The self-conscious part of me feels really flattered that she did that, because I'm like, wow, she liked me. That doesn't happen. That's really flattering. But then the other part of me is just like, where did you get that from? Because we don't know each other, and I gave all my attention to my two co-stars, like at all times, and we barely spoke. Like I said, the girl that was on stage left, who was the assistant stage manager, her and I got way closer. Like, I gave her a few hugs, and like one time she was upset and she came and she was like leaning with her head on my shoulder, and like we chatted, and one day I was having like a complete autistic meltdown, and she came up and she was like asking if I was okay. And like, if she asked me out, I would have been like, okay, I get where you're getting it. Like, I get why you took your shot, because it could come off as like we're flirting and connecting. But like, I'm sorry, you kind of misunderstood. But the other girl, I was just like, I would say one or two words to her. She'd come up and she'd be like, hey, so are you supposed to be wearing that? I'm like, yes, it's my costume. And she'd be like, oh, I've just never seen it. I'm like, yep. And then I'd walk away. That was my interactions with her. And she would like, what? So like, having that looming over me at the very end of the show kind of sucked. It wasn't a huge deal. Don't get me wrong. It was like 99% enjoyable. That was the 1% that wasn't. But I wish that 1% didn't exist. You know, I figured she kind of was into me because she would follow me around all the time and ask me questions when there were like 5 other people standing there that she could have asked that would have known the answer. Because it would be like crew and then me. And then she'd ask me a question for crew. And I was like, why are you asking me? I don't know. And so like, it's just like, I kind of figured, but at the same time, wait until we're done because we have to work together. I don't want that. I don't want that looming over me. And if I was her, I wouldn't want that looming over me either. Like, if I would have asked Kendra out mid-run through the show and she rejected me, that would have been horrendous. That would have been horrendous. So I'm just like, what? Yeah. So that was the only thing. That was the only thing that I was just like, I am not cool with this. Yeah. Just be glad you're honest. And that's why I was honest, because I didn't want to do to her what people have done to me in the past. I also wanted to be able to work with her in the future and not have that be something that was there. Now, whether or not she'll be able to deal with the fact that I rejected her, that's on her. But I'm cool. You know, I don't mean like I'm a cool guy. I mean like I'm fine with it. Like if I see her, it's going to be just as awkward as it's always been. It's not going to be any worse. I'm not going to think any less of her. Like I said, I have more respect for her because she took her shot, but I just wish she would have waited. But I wanted to make sure that if we're going to be on that stage and she's the one that I'm relying on for my props, that she doesn't feel like I was a complete D-bag to her, because I want her to enjoy her time too. And like I said, she's a person, she deserves respect. It was just so awkward. And then that's where I'm torn, because I'm like, she deserves respect. At the same time, like, holy crap, how am I not supposed to like react in a way that would make me out to be a jerk when it's just such a crazy situation? Like, that is something you would hear and read about in a movie. That's not something that actually happens in real life. Because like, at least in like the movies, the person, like, it's usually a guy that's doing it, but like the girl is usually like really nice to him and he just misinterprets it. I wasn't nice to her. And there were 2 other women there that I was like all over. Sorry, I'm just like decompressing all this because I haven't really talked about it too much. But like, I don't know. I just don't know. It was really strange. It was really strange, to say the least. But outside of that, it was such a good experience. You know, I hadn't worked with Ian in, God, well over a decade. But we've known each other for forever. But we hadn't worked together for a really long time. And it was really nice to be on stage with him, especially playing the same character. Because we've always played together, but like we did Rocky Horror. And I think when we did Rocky Horror, I was Eddie. So we didn't interact on stage. Yeah, because when I was Frankenfurter, it was Ron Gonzalez that was Brad. But like, Ian and I get along, and we've worked together, but we had never had this kind of interaction where we were doing the same character and doing it in our own unique way, which was really cool. Because I used to get to watch him and see the choices he would make, and I'd be like, wow, why did he make that choice? And then another one, I'd be like, well, why didn't I make that choice? So it was like cool to have those moments, and then to hear the audience react to things he would do, and then I would do them and they wouldn't react, but then they would react in a different way. So like there were times that Ian would deliver a line and they would all laugh, and then I would deliver the same line and they would all go, ugh, because we went about it in totally different ways, which was super, super cool. There was actually one of the actors said this, and I didn't hear it, but I was told afterwards that when Ian would walk on stage, he led with his chest as the character, like this big burly chest, trying to be like the bigger man. And then again, when I walked on stage, I led with my chalupa everywhere I went. And then I went back and watched the footage and I was like, oh my God, that is 100% how it is. So it was really cool to see us do the exact same thing in 2 totally different ways. It was cool. It was cool. All right, Ty, you go ahead and ask your 2 questions when you get back. Ty. It would be a very accurate email, but it would be a very mean email. Oh, Ian, it is night and day. It is night and day. There are lines that you deliver that I'm like, holy crap, that is so different than the approach I took. Our approaches are so different, especially because the doorleys are so different. The whole interaction is different. It's really cool. I had started working on it yesterday, but then Preston came over, so I got distracted. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty good. I'm really gonna take my time. I wanted to make it look as good as possible. So I'm really gonna take my time over the next few weeks to like hone it all. First thing I want to do is just like color balance, get the audio all to be like as crystal clear as possible, which I'm still kind of struggling with. And then I'm going to slice it into every single one of the scenes. So that way the computer has a bit of an easier time compressing and decompressing all the things that I need, because right now is one long solid video. It just locks up constantly, and then once that's done, then I'm going to start working out kind of the camera angles I'm going to use for it, like when it's zoomed in, when it's zoomed out, who I'm zooming in on, because I really want to make an effort to get all the ensemble their fair share at screen time, because so many times all the camera guys do is concentrate on who's talking and they ignore the people in the background. Or who's singing and they ignore the people in the background. That's why in the clip that I sent on Messenger to everybody, you could see the one part where like I zoom into the ensemble. Even though Catherine is singing, you can see the ensemble doing their choreo, because it's like, we watched Catherine for the last 10 seconds. We know exactly what she's doing this whole time. Let's watch the choreo that's going on behind her. And that's kind of the approach I want to have, so that way, you know, everybody kind of has their moment of like, there's me, instead of like, there's my foot, there's my hand. And, you know, we all put in just as much work as each other. So I would like them to have as much screen time. I wish I didn't have to do it when I am the background person, because most of the time it's me going, where am I? Where am I supposed to be standing? But I will take the bullet, because yeah, I know how hard that work was. And I want everybody to have their moment, because I really enjoyed working with everybody, and I want to show how cool the work was. So I'm going to take my time. Yeah, Ian. Yeah, you were very lucky to get to do that, because I wish I could have. I would have loved to have tried with Anastasia, and I would have loved to try with Katie. I did get to try with Jen a little bit, because the one day Catherine wasn't there, Jen was in. So I did get to try with Jen a little bit during rehearsals. I wish I could have tried with the other two, because they were so different. So different. I think it would have been really interesting to try. Yeah. Or what should I say? So, we went, how have things been? How's life? But yeah, DM, what you were just saying, sorry, it delayed in responding. I think it was the idea of me that she liked. I think maybe she found me physically attractive. I don't know. That's something that I'm not there yet in my own journey to be able to accept that people find me attractive. But I think it was the idea of me. I think it was the cocky strut that I would have as the character that I was playing. Maybe even like seeing me with Kendra and Catherine and seeing me be like affectionate and give hugs and smile and laugh. And maybe it was her watching that gave her an idea of who she thought I was. But like, I'm a jerk a lot of the times. So that's not a very good depiction of who I am. Because I'm like that with people I like. Like I really like that I like appreciate in my life. Like I'm like that with Ian. Him and I will chat and everything. Obviously I'm not like all huggy and kissy with Ian. Although I wouldn't mind. No. But you know, like I'm good with Ian. I like Ian. So like I can be super friendly and joke and laugh with him. I like his fiance, so I can be super friendly and joke and laugh with her. But like there were other people in the cast that I was like, I like you and I think you're great, but like we didn't have that complete interaction. But that stagehand I had zero interaction with. So it was completely just a really bad interpretation of who I was. And I don't know if she maybe like imagined we had more of a connection than we did. Like, I don't know if maybe she felt the few interactions that we had were actually a very positive thing because I just wasn't outright rude to her. I don't know. I didn't see anybody else be rude to her. So I don't know why. I saw a couple of people be rude to her, but it was deserved because sometimes she was asking really silly questions that she should have known the answer to weeks ago. But like, I didn't see anybody be outright mean to her. I felt like I was one of the meanest ones to her. Or maybe that's a kink and she just likes being talked down to. I don't know. But yeah, I think it was the idea of me, DM. I think it was the idea. Life is life. It's weird. Sweet 16 for your oldest son. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. I made this too thick so I can't talk. So I'm only chatting today because I don't have anything prepped to actually play. So right now we're just chatting. I'm just kind of unwinding after everything that's happened because the people I've talked to have all been involved in the show. And then one other person who is also an actor, and he just kind of, he knows this whole routine. So for him, it's not really interesting. So I haven't really had a chance to talk to people about what's been going on that aren't involved in this. And so I'm kind of just decompressing the whole journey through this. And it's been fun. So that's why we're just chatting today. But I am planning to erase the computers now that I have free time and give myself the ability to have fresh installs on my computer, because it has been a nightmare trying to get these computers to do what I want. I really want to make sure that I save my Minecraft world, because that's the only thing that I'm concerned about, because I'm working on my Minecraft videos. I just haven't worked on one in like 2 weeks, but I have to do it like over the next day or two. So that's the only thing I'm really concerned about saving. And then I might even completely redo all my overlays for the channel, but I need to wipe both computers because they lock up for no reason. So that's kind of where I'm sitting right now. That's kind of where we're just chatting, you know, not much to do. They're going karting. Nice. I haven't done that in ages. Oh God, maybe almost 20 years now. Almost 20 years. Oh, I'm like trying not to burp. Give me just a second. Give me a second. Just a minute. Okay. I think it's been around the same time as when I went for the first. Yeah, it's been a long time. Oh, it wasn't even a big track. Yeah, the last one I went to wasn't a big track either. But yeah, it was a really big journey. It was a really big risk that I took because I hadn't done it in so long, and I think I did an okay job. I think my vocals were definitely nowhere near where they needed to be. I'm still not happy with how I sang the songs, but I was definitely really happy with my acting performance. I could have used another week of the show. I needed like the week where it's opening and all the stuff goes wrong, then a week where it just runs smoothly, and then the closing week where it's all emotional because it's over. But all we got was the bad week and the emotional week. We didn't get that like get into the groove week. So I could have used one more week of the show. I definitely was in over my head for a lot of it, but I'm working on that because I'm going to start taking vocal lessons very soon to kind of rehab my voice again. I am also planning to take some dance lessons with my director. Well, at her studio. I don't think she actually teaches the class, but at her studio, just to get back into moving again. And then I am going to be just working on getting back into doing it because it's been tough. I'm definitely nowhere near where I used to be, and I need to do a lot of work to get back into it. But it's been really fun, you know. I'm glad that I did the show. I'm glad that I took the risk. I like I said, I was in over my head. Oh, and the other thing that I'm addressing is the hearing loss. I have an appointment next month, but they have me on the call list in case they get an earlier appointment. So I will be getting hearing aids, hopefully, and that should help my singing, because that was one of the biggest things that I noticed is I can't hear the music once I start to sing. It was really hard to deal with. Once we were on stage, it wasn't so bad because we had the band, but there were a lot of nights where we didn't have the speakers working on our side, and so we had nothing except for what was live coming through the floor, and the band was below us, so I couldn't hear anything. So like I would take advantage of the moments that I would be taking breaths, or I would like tilt my head in a certain way to try to like get at least a little bit of what the hi-hats were doing on the drum, just so I would know I was in the right rhythm. We could kind of hear the piano. That was about it. And then you would hear the trumpets when they would kick in, but for the song that I sang, they would only come in once in a while. They weren't in all the time. So it was like I would just listen to those little cues to make sure I was in the right time of the song. But the hearing loss made it so much harder to sing and find a pitch. The hearing loss made it so much more of a struggle to remember what the notes were and to hear the rhythm of the music. And I hadn't realized that it was that severe. So I'm addressing that, and hopefully that will help a lot. Okay, the two questions. Was the audio coming from the team or from the theater? And aside from the prop girl, was there anybody else that irked me in some way? Ian irked me because he made me have to work harder. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. As far as the sound issues, it was mostly the team. It wasn't even a team. It was one kid. He was in way over his head. Way over his head. Like, I made this analogy to Catherine. He was trying to climb Mount Everest in shorts and running shoes because his ability was the shorts and running shoes, and the show needed somebody climbing Mount Everest because there were 15 microphones for the actors, plus there was 2 trumpets, 2 percussionists, a bass player, a guitar player, 2 woodwind, and a piano. So it was a lot of musicians. So estimate, 23 microphones, 23 lines he had to work with. And the drum usually isn't just one, it's like 5 or 6 microphones on its own. So like, it was a lot, and he just was in over his head. And he didn't necessarily listen to what we had to say, which was really frustrating because there was like a time one microphone was left on and we were telling him it was left on and he was arguing with us that it was off, but we could hear it, and he still argued that it was off, but we could hear it, so it wasn't off. And then his solution was just to turn off the speakers backstage so that we couldn't hear anything. So it was very frustrating at times. Partially it was the school, because the way they have things set up gets things really complicated to a degree that it doesn't need to be complicated. And so the kid was already in over his head, but then the setup was also very messy. And so even for me, that's why I'm struggling with the sound issues, because they were supposed to give me 2 lines, one for all the microphones and then one for all the music. And instead I got the sound that was out to the house, which included the microphones and the music, but I have nothing for vocal track. And the kid was not a good mixer. So there were certain singers that were super quiet and some singers that were super loud. And the loud singers sometimes were the ones that needed to be really quiet. And the quiet singers sometimes were the lead singer and needed to be all the way up, and he just didn't do it. So I can't use that vocal track. But if I would have had the individual vocal track, I could control it a little bit on my side. Can't do it because it's mixed in with the music. And so like, it's a bit of both. The theater didn't set up the sound system properly for us to use, but the kid also didn't know what he was doing, so he couldn't work with what he had. So it was a bit of both. No cellist, I'm insulted. No, this show didn't need one. This show didn't need a cellist. No strings at all. Yeah, Catherine, that damn microphone. Catherine was like the one who had a whole bunch of songs to sing, and her microphone was never on, or it was way too quiet. And the worst part for Catherine, she's the star of the show, so she has the most songs. And then there's Dora Lee, who's like the second star in the show. And then there's Judy, who's the third star in the show. Judy had a microphone that worked, and she sounded boosted when she would sing. The Dora Lee actress, Kendra, is an opera singer. Her microphone was almost muted because she was so damn loud. She would distort the mic, which could have been corrected by them turning down the gain, but they wouldn't listen to me, so what do I know? I just have 15 years of experience, but whatever. So she would be ultra loud. And then Catherine didn't have a microphone. And she would sing at a good level, but when you have a boosted singer next to you and then a professional opera singer on the other side, you couldn't hear her very well. And it's just like, that would have been easily corrected by just turn up her mic. That's it. Turn up her mic. And they just couldn't figure that out for the whole run. It's so frustrating. So the kid was in over his head. Do I think he was bad for doing it? Not at all. He was just in over his head. It was way too big of a show for him. The company made a mistake in having that kid do the show. But it is what it is. I went on stage the last night and I turned my mic off. I forgot to turn it back on because I was backstage and I was complaining about the props girl. So I muted my microphone because the kid would sometimes just leave our mics on. I muted my microphone to talk about it. And then I went on stage for my number. And then I came back off, and then the stagehand was like, your mic was off. I was like, oh, but I am like Kendra. I am a very, very, very loud vocalist. So nobody knew that it was off except for the sound guy who let her know. because I was just so damn loud. But yeah, he was in over his head. As far as somebody who really irked me outside of the props girl, not really. Not really. You know, then people will get on your nerves because you're spending every single day with them. There'll be people that are just like, oh my God, just stop, please. The only thing that came close to that was the other props guy, but it wasn't that he was annoying. It was just, they got into the habit of asking the actors questions when they should have been asking the assistant stage manager the question because she's in charge. In that section of the theater, the stage manager's in charge of everything, but the assistant stage manager is in charge of that wing. And then both props people would be asking us questions when they should have asked her or the stage manager on the other side. That was really frustrating because we'd be like, hey, we were trying to get into like our headspace to go on stage because like we're about to do a whole scene where all they're doing is tying me up and I have to fight them the whole time. And then you're going to come in and ask me about my jacket from scene 1. And it's just like, we've done this show already like 7 times. Can you stop, please? I need to get concentrated. That was frustrating, but it wasn't their fault because it was really disorganized. So it wasn't their fault. They just should have been a bit more organized. But outside of that, nothing really irked me that anybody was doing, or no person in particular irked me. This cast was a very unique cast. I've done lots of shows, nowhere near as many as Catherine has done, but I've done a lot of shows, and I've had one other set of cast members that were this close. They were closer than this cast was because they went to parties every single night that we had a weekend rehearsal. We would finish the weekend rehearsal and go to somebody's house, and we would all sit and have chips and eat and watch movies and talk and whatever. And like on the Friday night rehearsal, we would do that. And it was a really bonding cast. This cast didn't do that part of it, but we were a very well bonded cast as well. And so we all got along really, really well. Almost every show I've done has had somebody that I'm like, I don't want to work with them again. This show didn't have that. I would absolutely work with all of them again, except for the props girl. I would work with everybody again, in a heartbeat. And there are some people that were ensemble that I want to work with on stage as like a scene partner because I just really enjoyed working with them. There was not a single person that like rubbed me the wrong way. I've had other shows where people either I just didn't get along with them in the sense of like, whatever, I don't care if I see them again. And then there were some where I have hated the actors that I've worked with. There's one circumstance in particular that I bring up all the time, and Catherine knows this, where I did a show and the love interest of my character, the actress playing her, humiliated me on the very final rehearsal before we went on stage. And that was really tough because I was already kind of struggling with the show to begin with. Not in like a severe way, but the acting, just I wasn't clicking with the character. And then she humiliated me in front of the whole cast and crew. Literally the very last minute of the very last rehearsal before opening night. And then that was it. I couldn't get out of my head after that. And it was really hard to play love interest with a girl that just humiliated me in front of everybody I have to work with for the rest of the show. I learned to have disdain for that girl. And I really, really don't ever want to work with her again. I will, because I am definitely going to put my art before my own feelings. But I will never work with her if I have a choice, because that was one person that I hated in a show. Or like I've had an ex-girlfriend that auditioned for a show that I was in, and then we ended up having to work together, and shock and awe, the director wanted her to like be all over me for the show because it was Rocky Horror, and she'd like grope me and touch me and stuff, and it's just like, this is just so uncomfortable. But yeah, it's happened before. This show didn't happen. It's really strange. It's really, really strange. Doesn't happen very often. Hello, GSR. How you doing? Welcome. How are things? But yeah, this going back to the band, this band was one of the bigger bands that I've done a show with. It was actually one of the biggest bands that I've had in a show, and it was cool. It was so much fun. I had a really good time. I could have used another week. yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting. Life's been, well, as per usual, good. I'm getting used to seeing my face right now. I've been wearing a friggin' mustache for so long, and now I look at myself and I'm like, I look so babyish, but I don't know how I like it. I don't know if I like it or not. I don't know. I'm gonna probably grow back like I'm debating about whether I'm gonna go 5 o'clock shadow, so just a little bit longer than this, or if I'm gonna go like a light beard. Do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna go full beard because it doesn't grow well enough, but either light beard or 5 o'clock shadow. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, that's kind of where things have been, everybody. That's why I've been missing for so long. You know, I was really, really, really busy with the show. It was, normally I am able to kind of balance a bunch of stuff and it's never a really big deal. But because I was so out of my element with the show, because I hadn't been doing it for so long, because I was the bad guy in the show, and I was working with 3 good actors, 2 extraordinary actors, it was pertinent for me to give it my all so I wouldn't let them down. And so I had to put a lot more effort into making sure that I didn't screw this up. And so I was really distracted from everything else in order to spend time doing this show. And so I disappeared. That's why I disappeared. I wanted to make sure that I provided that. Infinity Gamer, hello, welcome. Put your hands up. We're getting rated. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my stream. How you doing? Welcome. How was the stream? What were you doing? How are you? How was life? What were you playing? What were you doing? Welcome to my channel. Real quick breakdown. I am Retro for the first time. I am a variety streamer. Right now we're just chatting because this is my first stream back after completing a musical. So I've been super busy, and I needed to kind of take today to decompress everything that has happened over the last couple of months and to kind of catch up my own like the constant people that are always here at the stream, to kind of update them on what's been happening, because I disappeared off the face of the earth for all of them, and so I wanted to take this stream to kind of just chat and let everybody know kind of how it went and what happened, because I also couldn't talk openly before because I was struggling on my own side, and I didn't want to have any of the actors potentially pop into my stream and then hear how, like, not negative I was being, but how defeated I felt about the show. Because I didn't want to bring their energy down. I also didn't want to give away anything from the show, because if people were going to see it, I didn't want them to accidentally find something out. And there was also like things that I hadn't really approached, like the whole Kendra thing. I didn't want to talk about that openly. Like you guys knew I had a crush on somebody in the show, but that's like as far as I would go. And so like I didn't want to broach that stuff, and so I just like disappeared off the face of the earth so I could concentrate on the show. I'm glad that I did, because I think I did a pretty damn good job. I actually think that this may have been my best performance that I've ever had. Vocally, nowhere near the best, but acting wise, this was my best performance I've ever had. And that's pretty big for me, because the rankings I've always given my performances has been like, my singing is always what I'm most concerned about, and it's usually a positive outcome. Then the dancing usually comes second, but not because I'm good at dancing. It's more like I was able to fake it. And then lastly would be my acting. My acting was always something that I did well enough, but I never felt that I did a good job. And I would watch back my acting and I'd be like, yeah, that wasn't that great. It doesn't look at all like I was expecting it to look. This is the first show where I watched back my footage and I was like, holy crap, it actually doesn't look how I expected. It's better than how I expected. It's everything that I was aiming for, because like I aim high, because even if I fall short of it, it's still good. But it was everything that I had aimed for, but not what I expected to see. So I feel like it was one of my best performances. Yeah, so I needed to kind of decompress. But anyways, we were playing some Ghost Recon. Nice. 79% sure you finished episode 1. Nice, cool. Getting stuck into the floor. Oh, I hate when those frigging glitches happen. I hate when that happen. But yeah, so we're just chatting today because of that. We're just, just catching up. It's not going to be a super long stream. I have a lot of stuff to do. I got to start relearning to play the guitar. I haven't played the guitar in a long time, and I have trigger finger. It's actually gotten a lot better, but I have trigger finger, and I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to play if my hands get all jammed up. But if I have the chance to audition for the Rent production that'll be coming in next year, I want to go in with the guitar, because the role that I want, I know the director wants somebody who can play the guitar. So I want to be able to, get the rust off. I want to go get a guitar. I got to start practicing that. I have to make dinner, and I'm still tired. I've only slept like 3 hours a night for since the show closed. So I'm pretty tired. But Infinity Gamer, thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate it. Go rest up, go sleep, go do whatever you're doing. Anybody else who is here? All right, Star Killer, see you later. Thank you for popping in. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, Infinity, go sleep. Anybody else who did come in on the raid, if you're interested in the things that I play, I don't do any first-person shooters, so if you like that, this isn't going to be the channel for you. I apologize, but I do appreciate you coming in anyway. Kevin, thank you for the GGs. How are you? How are things? But I do play a variety of stuff. We usually have something horror going on. I've been doing a lot of survival stuff, but I'm probably going to pull away from that. I don't know what I'm going to play next. I don't have anything planned right now, but I do like to do horror stuff. I like being scared. I also run a Minecraft channel, which I'm currently in the process of making a new video for. I've only got 3 videos on it, and so I'm currently in the process of doing video 4. That is a totally different channel, disconnected from this one. But if you like Minecraft content, then you can check that channel out for sure. I don't live stream on there. It's all pre-made, edited videos. But I am also on TikTok and TikTok and Instagram, and I post a lot of like sketch comedy, game history, game fun facts, anti-piracy stuff, gaming news. I do a lot of stuff. It's all around gaming. But most of my streams are kind of like, we chat for a while, then I play for a short while, then we chat again. It's more, I like stealing this term because this is what Girl Thulu said, and I agree with her. It's more like a podcast that just happens to have video games playing in the background. It's very similar to that. And yeah, it's a chill atmosphere. It's a place to kind of just hang out. Picture like going to a friend's house and the video game's just kind of on and you're just chatting while you play a casual game. That's kind of how we treat things here. I saw you mention that, Weewin. I saw you mention that. No, man. I don't think I want to do 7 days. I don't think I want to do 7 days. It was an okay game, but it didn't work for the channel. It didn't work for the channel. That's why I've pulled away from the whole survival thing right now, because it hasn't helped the channel in any way. And I would like to do something that helps the channel. So I'm going to play random stuff for the next little while, just while I figure out where I want to go with it. But I do want to play something that's kind of consistent. So I gotta see what I'm going to find and what we're going to play. I want to continue with the horror stuff, but I don't know what I'm going to interchange with. But I think 7 Days to Die is kind of meh for me. Kevin, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Just coming off that show, I'm still kind of processing everything that happened, because a lot happened over that time. It was like 8 weeks with the same people every day, and me battling through all the challenges that I had from it, facing a lot of my fears, and coming together with a group of people to do something artistic, which I hadn't done in a very long time, and also seeing what TikTok and YouTube have done to my acting skills. Because the reason I started social media was because I had to step away from the theater stage, and it was a way for me to it was only temporary, supposed to be temporary. It was a way for me to keep practicing my acting until I could get back on stage. The idea was supposed to be for like 6 months to a year. And years later, I still hadn't gotten back on stage. And so this was the first time I really did something. Like, I did Rocky Horror, which was literally just rehashing something that I had done forever and just learning where to stand in a new position this time. There was nothing new about that show for me, so it didn't really use my acting chops. I just kind of went into autopilot every time. And then I did Matilda, but Matilda I was one character who's on stage for one dance number and then 2 lines at the end of the show. It wasn't really acting. And I'm not saying like small roles are unimportant. I'm just saying it didn't challenge me in a way of like, I really have to see if I have the chops yet. And so I hadn't seen what my social media content had done to my acting. And this show showed me what my social media has done to my acting. And it has been a really big impact. So it was, I'm just processing all that right now since it all ended. It's been wild. Life's been pretty wild, Kevin. You might do it, but you're already thinking about it. Gives you anxiety. No, don't get anxiety. Night Owl. I don't know if you're still there, Night Owl. Sorry, I meant to answer you, but then the Raiders came in and everything. Night Owl, you missed the mutton chops already. The mutton chops were okay. Actually, I was really proud of my mustache in the sense of like, that was the thickest it had ever been. It was like the fullest and most mustachiest it had ever been in my life. But I noticed that people treated me differently with it. They really treated me differently. And it was not a nice feeling. I didn't like it. They weren't rude or anything, but you could just feel that kind of like, don't get too close. That kind of thing. So I didn't like that. I also didn't like how much older it made me look. Like, I don't think I look like a kid, but the mustache made me feel like I looked like I was getting close to 50. Yeah, I didn't like it. But on stage, the chops with the mustache and the comb over hair, I totally look like I belonged in the 70s, which was a really cool thing to see because I've done shows based in the past and it never felt like I was part of that time. Like when I did Grease, that's supposed to take place in the 50s, and we did it and I didn't feel like I looked like I belonged in the 50s because my hair did not do the greaser look. They went for like these weird curls, kind of like the guy that sings they went like in that style of hairdo, but not greasy. It was dry looking, so I didn't feel like I was in the 50s. And most of the other shows that I've done have been fairly contemporary, so it's never felt like I was in a totally different time zone. This show, on the other hand, I felt like I looked like I was in the 70s. It was really cool, but I was really glad to shave. It's made me very self-conscious because more of my face is obviously exposed. So I've felt more self-conscious, and because of the makeup, I had a really bad breakout around my chin right as I shaved. And so I felt a little bit self-conscious, and then obviously everything going on with like my crush and stuff, that made me really self-conscious to like, because we've gotten to know each other, and the whole time we've gotten to know each other, I've had facial hair, and then I had to shave for the first time. And like a lot of the women in the show told me, facial hair is like makeup for men. And I was just like, oh, up. I'm gonna take off, even though it's creepy makeup, I'm gonna take it off, and what's gonna happen then? So I was a little bit self-conscious about it. I'm still kind of self-conscious about it, but I'll get used to it. It's gonna take me a couple of days. You know? Yeah, it definitely gives a certain vibe. And yeah, it depends on the facial hair. Some of it can look really, really good. Some of it can be like, ugh. Some of it makes you just look dirty and disheveled. And so my debate now is whether I want to go just slightly more than this, just so I can get kind of like how my mustache looks now, this kind of shadow, but have it more filled in. Or if I'm going to go thicker to where it's like just a light beard, where it's hair and you can see that it's hair and it's, there, but not like growing outwards, because I can't grow a full beard. Those are the two that I'm kind of debating between, because I've gained some weight since the show started because I was basically only eating fast food because I had no time to cook. And so I don't feel comfortable being clean shaven because I feel like I look pretty chubby right now. So, I'm not comfortable with that. But if I end up losing some weight doing these dance classes, I want to try to get into some cardio stuff so I can get back to being healthy again. Then maybe I'll go clean shaven again, because I do like clean shaven, but yeah. All right, Jared, thank you so much for being here. Have yourself a good day. Thanks for popping in. Preston, how's it going, man? The show wife says this look is solid. Well, if the show wife said so, although now we're divorced, do I want to listen to my ex-wife? You loved your mustache. There was a while where I loved my mustache, not for this show, because I went like full sleazeball handlebar. But I used to have like a mustache like how you had it, where it was much cleaner. And I liked it for a really long time. But now that I haven't had it for a long time, I look back at it and I'm like, oh God, that was not a nice mustache. Mind you, I was also bigger and balder and not better. And so like, I look back at it now and I'm just like, yeah, no, I don't think I like the mustache. I was proud of the mustache for 9 to 5 because it was just so
without ads. So you can keep
just
the energy
mustachy. And it was exactly how I pictured me looking as Frank. That thick mustache. I'm scrolling back to when I had my mustache the first time. But yeah, I like clean shaven. I like clean shaven. I like this because it's just barely a shadow. But I feel insecure right now about it. That's all it is. I just feel insecure about it. But you can kind of see here. Isn't it right? There we go. You can kind of, this was how I kept my mustache at all times. Come on, camera. Can you not focus? What's with my autofocus? Why is it not working? Okay, there. Can you focus on this now? There we go. Yeah, see, that was my mustache. So it was always like a pretty clean mustache. It was never like a thick, long mustache like I had for this show. But I look back at it, I'm just like, no, I don't like it. I don't like how I look with it. And in certain ways, when I was dressed a certain way, like I looked so Latino. But like the stereotypical Latino, not like, oh, he just looks Hispanic. I look like the stereotypical, like Mexican guy with a mustache and a gap in the middle. I was like, Dad, no, I don't like that. I don't like how I look. But yeah, this show, I was proud that I looked exactly how I wanted to look. You know, the chops and the mustache and stuff. When I was in full costume, I was like, oh God, I look like Frank. And I like that. I did like that. Yes, you want to listen to me. Yes, I will listen to you, Catherine. I will listen to you. I will keep it something like this, yeah. Because the other option was right before I shaved, how I had that longer, thicker beard. But I prefer this, or like fully clean shaven, but I do prefer this. Your mustache was amazing. It was pretty. I was pretty proud of it, you know? Like it was quite the stash. It was quite the stash that I got away with. And like I showed you guys the picture of me and my two best friends in the show, and like my mustache, come on, focus. My mustache was so friggin' thick. Like so friggin' thick, and it went down and everything. Like it was so thick, but it made me look so damn old. Played some WoW. Nice, man. Nice. My day's been good. I got up. I didn't want to get up, but I got up because I needed to stream. And then I showered. And then I spent some time setting up the cameras because I forgot that I didn't put them up last night. And then I was having some issues with my audio. So I started the stream later than I wanted to. But that's all I've done. I haven't done anything at all. Like, not even in the slightest. I'm tired. Oh, I'm so tired. Oh, and for both of you, Preston and Preston and Catherine, I haven't talked to Kendra about the Christmas tree thing that we were talking about. I want to talk to her first, and then I'll come up with like plans and stuff about what we're gonna do. But for those who are not, just so you're not kind of left out of the conversation, I've been debating about Christmas this year because it's my first Christmas away from Nora, but it's also my first Christmas without my dad. And my dad was the Christmas guy in our house. He wasn't the kind of guy that was like, oh, we need to put up decorations, Christmas carols, none of that stuff. He never did any of that. But he was adamant that we would spend every Christmas together. And he would get so emotional every Christmas. And his favorite thing was to watch us open our gifts. And every time we got him something, he would cry. And I actually have his watch, which I don't know where I've left it ever since I rearranged everything. It's on one of my shelves. But I have his watch, which was a watch we gave him for Christmas, and he loved that thing. And he would carry it with him. He never wore it, but he always carried it with him. And now I got that watch. And so Christmas is really emotional for me. And now that he's not here, it's going to be really hard for me. So I've been kind of debating about Christmas, and then everybody I've spoken to is like, you need to celebrate Christmas, but it's always been, you need to celebrate Christmas because you're wrong. And it always made me frustrated because I was like, I am justified in feeling the way that I feel. You can't tell me that I'm not, because I raised that little girl, and now I'm never going to have Christmas with her again. I'm never going to see her open her gifts again. I'm never going to see her get excited about it again. I'm never going to see her cheer and hug and say it's the best Christmas ever again. I'm not going to be able to put the Christmas tree up with her and put the star on top and have her like holding her while she does it. I'm never going to be able to do that again. I'm justified in feeling upset about that. I'm never going to see my dad again. I'm justified in feeling sad about that. The man that I spent every single Christmas with my whole life. I never missed a Christmas with my parents. And this is my first one ever without my dad. So I'm justified. So when people would be like, you know, well, you should do it anyway because you're wrong. I'm not wrong though. But then I had that conversation with Kendra, and all she said was just, I think you should do it. Without the you are wrong. And I instantly felt like, okay, maybe I should. And then I talked to Preston, and Preston said the same thing. And then he turned it around even further and said, do it in honor for your dad. And I was like, well, now I can't not do it. And then he suggested that we get together and do it as a group, like Kendra, Catherine, and Preston. And so that's what I'm talking about, is like us four are going to get together and put up a Christmas tree at my place, kind of in honor of my dad and in the new leaf in my life with my friends, that I didn't have that support system and now I do. You know what I mean? So that's what we're talking about. In the doghouse. I know, I'm in the doghouse. I'm in the doghouse. I bet, Night Owl. I bet. Yeah, and that's exactly it. When Preston said that, when Kendra first said it, it gave me that feeling of like, this doesn't necessarily have to be I'm wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like, everybody else made me feel like I was being stupid for thinking that way. Whereas like when she said it, it made me feel more like, just don't miss out. And then when Preston said what he said, that was the thought that went through my mind. Just because it's there and it's going to be sad doesn't mean that I can't make happy new memories with new traditions. So that was like the turning point. And because I now have a group of friends that are like here, because like I consider Night Owl like a good friend. I consider Wewin a good friend. I consider Ty and Merle good friends. But they are not people that are here that I can like hang out with, and that well, Ty is close enough that I could hang out with them. But like, they're not, you're not people that I can, like Preston messaged me yesterday. He's like, hey, what are you doing? Like, nothing. I'm just like looking at the video. He's like, let's go get something to eat. Like, okay. And the same thing's happened with Catherine, and it's going to happen with Kendra. And like, they are now a group of friends that I have as a support system. And so now I can start to make those good memories. But that was exactly the thought, was the two things can be true at once, and they don't cancel each other out. They're just gonna be living side by side, but I can still enjoy. So it was, yeah, it was a revelation. But that's what we're talking about with Preston, and what I was saying to Catherine. I'm not crying again, not at all. Well, I'm trying not to, Catherine. I'm in front of the camera, so that's stopping me from doing that. I've been crying almost every day since the show closed. Actually, since before the show closed. But yeah, so that's what we're talking about. It's time for me to turn a new leaf and start new traditions. Yeah. That's why I'm decompressing everything that's happened in this show, because a lot has happened in the 3 weeks that I haven't been live. A lot has happened. And it's a lot to kind of take in, because it's a lot of changes for the better, you know? It's a bit of a swim, just a little bit, Night Owl, just a little bit. Although one day I need to get to UK. I need to go to Europe, and like, it's gonna have to be one of those things where I take like 2 weeks in Europe, and then like I spend some time in like the UK, and then I go out to like I was gonna say Holland, in the Netherlands, you know, and just like spend time with people that I really appreciate. Because like if I was in the UK, I'd love to meet you. You'd be like the number one person I would want to meet in the UK. But I would love to meet Billy Tricks and Kadea and Snacks Gaming. Those are people that I would really love to like hang out with. But like you, because I admire your work and you've just been such a chill dude since day one, I would love to hang out. And we went and Merle, who are always here, I would love to hang out with them. You know, it'd be so fun. All the Southerners. All right, Weewin, have yourself a good night. Thank you for being here. Take care of yourself. Have a good night. But yeah, so that's kind of where things have been. I'm probably going to stop streaming in just a minute because I have so much to do. I still haven't even, this is my breakfast and I still haven't even finished it. But yeah, now I'm just working on the video, but oh my God, is it a nightmare? It's such a nightmare to work on the video for the show. It's been a lot. You should, man. You should come out here and have a visit. And the States is so close to me that if you went to the States, it wouldn't be, you know, too far for me to go anywhere. Because even flights, I think the last time when I flew to Texas, it was like $400. That's money, but like if I knew ahead of time, I could start saving up, and then it's like, oh, I'll meet you wherever you are for the weekend or whatever, and that way like a bunch of us could get together. It'd be so cool. It'd be so cool. But yeah, so life has made a lot of progress in the last 3 weeks, more progress than I've made in the last 6 months. I've made a lot of progress in the last 6 months, but the last 3 weeks have had way more progress in the last 6 months, and it's been really nice, honestly. And it's given me the drive to continue doing my acting thing. And now it's about finding the juggling act of like streaming and rehearsing and TikTok and Minecraft and work and balancing it out so it works. It may result that I don't stream as often as I am right now. It may result that I stream shorter, but as often as I do right now. So like still the 5 days a week, but only for an hour each time or whatever. Or it may result that it's like, oh, I stream 3 times a week. They're fairly chunky streams, and then the other 4 days are dedicated to like rehearsals and Minecraft and TikTok. You know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it's really wild how life can change that easily. Definitely found motivation and happiness and like genuine moments of just, the only phrase I can think of is like just feeling safe. Yeah, I'm not going to turn this into a whole like trauma dumping stream. I don't want that to be the case. But you know, I've been in fight or flight in self-defense for the last 2 years, almost 3 at this point. Because of everything that happened with the people that I was living with. It was almost 3 years of me in fight or flight the whole time, of me always being walking on eggshells, of me never being acknowledged. And it wears you down, like to the point where somebody would say something on TikTok and I was like hair trigger. I would just attack them because I was just so fed up with everything in my life that a moron coming in and being a moron, I would get really aggressive. And I'm still going to be really aggressive because I don't care, right? If a follower comes in and they're a jerk, I'm just going to get rid of them. I don't care. But these last 3 weeks showed me moments of just complete and utter safety, of being able to be vulnerable and not have somebody throw it in my face 2 days later, of being able to turn to somebody and be like, hey, I'm having a rough time. And they just come in and give you a hug and they don't have to fix it. They're just going to be there and give you a hug to just be like, you're not alone. And that's all I needed. And they would do it. And I'm talking specifically about Catherine because she was the one that did that. That's how her and I became so close. And so like, it was mind-boggling how that happened in a relatively short amount of time. But like her and I have known each other now for many weeks, but the last 3 weeks was where like all the guards came down. So I was able to find a lot of that stuff. I'm still not there. I was showing her some pictures from before, and you can see the shine in my face and the smile and like the bright spark before, and then you can see where it changes because that spark is gone. Like I'm smiling, but it's just such a fake smile the whole time, and all my smiles are that way. But there were genuine moments within the show where I was just laughing and goofing off. and didn't feel that need to protect it. And so, yeah, it's been wild. It's been a really wild ride. There's still a ways to go with the journey, but there's been a lot of progress. I'm way further than I thought I would be at this point. So, yeah. There's no better feeling than that support and safety. Because like, even like with my family, right? Like my mom is loving. My dad loved us to death. My brother and I get along. He's my best friend, but I can't talk to them about anything. If something upsets me, my mom will either take the route of you're being dramatic or don't be stupid, but never you're justified in what you're feeling and you're allowed to feel that way. There was always just the one extreme or the other, that I was wrong and it wasn't actually happening the way I said, or it's happening exactly like I said, but it's my fault because I'm stupid. My brother doesn't address emotional stuff at all, and so I can't talk to him about anything. And I have friends, but I don't want to constantly be bitching to them, and so I just didn't have any support until now, and it's a really nice feeling. It's a really, really nice feeling. And I'm hoping that will translate into the stream and into my content and all that kind of stuff. We'll see. The toxicity on TikTok can really, really kill you despite the support. It can be really negative and really horrible, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes. I'm hoping that it'll kind of shine into here. I am 100% more motivated to do my theater stuff. I had mentioned it many, many times in the past when I've gone on my spiels about how much I miss theater. About how like the last few times I had done shows, I just didn't feel that spark. I didn't feel that passion that I used to feel, and I don't know why. I felt it this time. And like at first I thought it was maybe because I hadn't gotten a lead role in a while, and I was like, it's because I'm like the bit part. The guy comes in, says a couple of lines or has one song and you don't see him again. And I was kind of like, I mean, maybe it's just that. Maybe it's just because I can't accept that I'm not as good as I think I am and haven't landed a lead role, and I'm just not enjoying it because I only want to be a lead role. Like maybe I'm just a jerk that way. I was technically a lead in this show because I was the bad guy, but I spent most of the show backstage. Like I would come in on the third act. So there was like 20 minutes of show before I would show up, and then I would do my number and then I'd leave. So I was on stage for maybe a total of like 10 minutes and then I'd leave. And then I'd come back on a couple of scenes later for maybe 2 minutes. I'd walk on, say about 4 lines and walk off. That was it. And they weren't like long speeches. It was like 4 sentences basically. And then I'd walk off. And then I'd come back on for one scene where I had a couple of lines, but it was Catherine yelling at me the whole time. So it was her scene. I was just the one, that was her foil. I was the one causing all the issues. And then Kendra would come in and yell at me a whole bunch, but it was just me saying a couple lines. Like I'd be like, well, wait a minute, I can explain. That was my line. Like there wasn't much to say. And then I would be off until the end of the first act. And then for the second act, I didn't come on till the very end of the show. And so like I spent most of the time doing nothing. But I felt that spark. I felt that excitement. I felt that pride. I felt that joy. I was backstage cheering on the 3 women because I was excited for them. And that showed me that it wasn't that I wasn't enjoying theater, is that I was so bogged down by everything that I couldn't enjoy theater. And now that stuff is gone, and I found that spark again. So I'm excited for the next show. I'm excited for the next thing I'm going to do. I'm excited to share the stage again with people. And I'm hoping that will translate to all this too. Right now, I'm obviously on a high. I'm feeling really, really good. So I'm feeling more positive than I will in the next few days. But I am hopeful that some of this will retain and show off in my content. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's been so cool. And that's it, Night Owl. Sometimes we don't need answers. We just need people to listen. And that was it. Like there was somebody I went out for coffee with them a couple of times. We had chatted for a little bit. And they were really nice. They were sweet. They were pretty. We got along okay. But that was their thing. They were constantly positive all the time about everything, that I felt like I was being negative about everything. And they always had a solution to everything I said. And it was really frustrating because sometimes I just wanted to vent. Like when I couldn't sing and I was having a really hard time with the singing, and they asked me about rehearsals, I was like, it's not going well. I'm really struggling right now. And their response would be, I'm sure you're going to be amazing. I will probably do a good job. But at this moment, I feel very insecure in my voice. I'm sure you sound great. I was a professional singer. I sang as a profession. I know I don't sound good, but not because I'm a bad singer, but because I am nowhere near what I used to do. And I am struggling right now with things that not only were easy for me, but I would laugh off because they were pathetically easy for me. And now I'm struggling to even do that part. So I just feel a little bit bummed out. I don't need you to tell me I'm going to be great, because I'm not saying it so you can tell me I'm going to be great. I'm saying it just to say I suck right now, and it sucks. And they couldn't understand that. They couldn't understand that at all. So much so, this is the moment where I was like, I don't even know if I want to talk at all. Like I told them that I'm just not interested, but like, I'm good with being friends. I don't even know if I want to be friends with this person, because when I tore my vocal cords, I was like coughing up blood, and it was painful. Like, it felt like somebody had taken like razor blades to my vocal cords. And it was very different, because normally I've had throat pain, but it's a lot to do with like tension. I can feel it as in like a sore throat when you get sick, but that was very, very specific. It was a very sharp pain in a very specific spot, and it was in my vocal cords, and I could feel it, and I was coughing up blood. And Catherine knows I was playing it down, but like, the pain was unbearable at times. Like, it was really, really bad. And I was really scared, because vocal pain is not good, but blood from the vocal pain is really not good. Like, you could permanently lose your voice, singing wise. I'll still be able to talk, but I'd be more like this. And I was really scared. And now Catherine and Kendra would yell at me to stop singing and blah, blah, blah. Which is like, that's cool. But this person, when I mentioned that to them, they're like, so what's going on? I was like, oh, I think I hurt my voice. I'm on vocal rest, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, that's not good. And I'm like, yeah. And then I was like, yeah, it was really bad when I spit up some blood. And her response was, well, at least you spit it up, so that's a good sign. I'm sure you're going to be fine. I might permanently lose my voice. I don't need to hear that I'm sure you're going to be fine right now. I need to hear, shut the fuck up, stop talking, don't sing, don't be dumb, protect your voice. I don't need to hear you're going to be okay. I need to hear you're going to lose your voice if you don't stop right now. And that's when I was like, yeah, this person is just so positive all the time that they're not even willing to like reprimand me when I'm being an idiot. And that's not being supportive. And so like, that's when I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done with this person. I don't want to deal with them anymore. But yeah, sometimes you don't want a solution. You just want somebody to listen, or you want somebody to just like agree with you. You don't need them to like give you the positive spin. You just need to have them be like, you know what? I understand. It's going to get better. Don't worry. But I totally understand where you're coming from. That's sometimes what you need. And that's what I have now. It's so good. And no, Ty. No, you were more like, you need to stop talking because I need to see you sing. It wasn't about my voice. You didn't care about my voice. I'm kidding. But yeah, the support was huge. And not getting answers was nice. And sometimes you do need answers. And the people in my life now, they knew when to do one and when to do the other. They knew when to just listen. They knew when to shake their head at me and be like, oh, you're an idiot. They knew when to laugh at me. They knew when to give me an answer. And they knew when to just ignore what I was saying. It was nice. I didn't pay $30 to get to see Ian sing. Well, it's too bad that you came on opening weekend. I mean, normally opening weekend is pretty good. It'll have like a couple of tech issues, but it's usually pretty good because everybody's so hyped up. But this opening weekend was really rough. It was probably one of the worst ones we had. If you would have gone to closing night though, that was the best performance any of us ever had. That was the best. Vocally, that was the best I ever sounded. I didn't feel it on stage, but when I watched it back, I was like, holy crap, my voice actually sounded the way I wanted for once. It's too bad you didn't see that performance. But the plan is, Ty, it's up to you because obviously you saw it live. I'm going to be editing the video, and once I have a decent cut, I'm going to be doing like a Discord call with Merle and with Wewin. And we're going to do like, I'm going to stream the video for them because obviously I can't stream it live because of copyright issues. But I would end up doing it like on a Discord call so she could see it, so they can see it. So if you want to pop in for that and chat with them and stuff, you can. But yeah, so that's kind of where life has been. It's been a really wild ride. It's been really fun. I'm sad that it's over. I'm really sad it's over because getting to work with Kendra and Catherine on stage at the same time will probably never, ever happen again. I'm hoping I'll get to work with both of them again, but I don't think we'll work in a trio ever again. So I'm sad about that. I'm sad that I didn't get more time with the show. I'm sad that I got to know some people backstage during the run that I didn't really get to spend a lot of time with during rehearsals. And they were really cool, and I wish I would have spent more time with them. And I'm just sad to say goodbye to my character. He was really fun to play. He was really fun to play. I loved when I would say certain things, and you would hear the audience go, ugh. And that's when I would know during the show, I'd be like, they finally figured out they're supposed to hate me. Because up until those moments, I sing my big song. You see I'm being a perv, but I'm funny. And then all of a sudden, there'd be a certain line that I would say that you would hear whether the audience knew that you were hated or not. And when that would click, they would boo everything that I did. And they would moan and like groan every time I talked on stage. And then they would cheer when I would get beat up at the end of the show. It was really cool. I'm gonna miss that. That character was a lot of fun to play. It was a really big challenge for me. But I am very excited for future events. I'm very excited for future shows, future auditions, future performances. And I'm glad that I am where I am now. You know? The bad guys are more fun to play. They're very hard to play if you're not careful. It's very easy to fall into pretending to be bad. Do you know what I mean? Like being like, oh, I'm evil. Depending on how you want to go for it, it's really hard to do that. And there's a difference in the type of bad guy you want to go for. So like I've always done Frankenfurter, who is technically the bad guy in Rocky Horror. But I did Frankenfurter in a way where and whatever Curry, whatever his name is, he did it the same way I did, where it was you're supposed to hate him, but you're supposed to love him too. Tim Curry. I was stuck with Steve, and I knew it wasn't Steve. Tim Curry. By the time you reach the end of the show, you're just like, he's so despicable, but poor guy. And that's really hard to balance because you have to make the audience love you while making them understand why everybody hates you. And that was a really big challenge. But it's really, really challenging to convince people to hate you without any redeeming quality. At least for me, because you guys know how I am. I can be pretty aggressive towards the morons that'll come through my chat sometimes. You know, those dumb trolls or bigots or whatever. I can be pretty damn aggressive to them. But overall, I'm a pushover. I tend to be very nice. You know, I'm trying really hard to unlearn the things that I know growing up as a man. You know, unlearn the bad habits that I have, like using girls instead of women. That's something that I struggle with so much. Because I don't interpret it the way that women do. And so when I say it, I don't say it in that negative connotation, but I know other people interpret it that way. So I'm trying really hard not to say that word, like not to use it in that way. But I think I'm an overall nice guy. I'm a nice guy. Why doesn't you like me? I think I'm overall a kind person. And playing like a vile human is really hard to do in a way that makes it legitimate. And so it's really fun when you finally hit that stride. It is really fun to be the bad guy. And so like in this show in particular, the moment that I realized the audience would realize they were hating me was one particular scene. And it didn't happen the first few nights because the audience we had was really quiet. But it happened on, I think it was the third night, the third performance I did, I think is when it happened. The audience was a lot louder. They were a lot more like responsive to what was going on. And I do my number. And my number is me talking to my secretary, and like I drop my pencil, so she has to bend over. I'm checking her out, and then I'm singing about how I want to bang her basically. And the whole time looking at her butt, trying to look up her skirt and all this stuff. But it's goofy, right? Like I'm literally, if you watch the TikTok, you'll see where I pull her off the couch or whatever. I walk towards the couch with her. She's standing on a ladder and I'm literally like leaning over the couch backwards, like in an arch, like in a bridge position, looking up her skirt. So it's like, it's so ridiculous that it's funny. It's gross, but it's ridiculous. And then like I try to make out with her and then like she pushes me away and my wife shows up and like it's all this like weird hijinks. But you kind of get a vibe when I give her a gift that I say is for my wife, but I give it to her and you kind of hear the audience go, oh, but they still haven't clicked that they're supposed to hate me. They just go, oh, that's kind of gross. The moment they would click, and it happened every night with me, was there was a part where I would walk in and Judy, the other character, she's the new employee, she has the fax machine go crazy, there's papers all over the floor, and I yell at her because like I'm like, you're a moron, basically. And then as I'm leaving, I'm with another guy who's supposed to be like my golden boy, that I'm going to give him the promotions and stuff. And I'm telling him a sexist joke. So this is not a joke from me. This is a joke from the show. Just to clarify, I'm sure if somebody hates me enough, they will take a clip of this and put it all over the internet and I'll go viral for all the wrong reasons. But in the show, Franklin Hart goes, hey, Bob, I got a new joke for you. Bob goes, okay, what is it? Franklin Hart goes, what do you call a woman who's lost 95% of her intelligence? And Bob says, I don't know what. Franklin Hart says, you call her divorced. And then he walks off stage. That was the moment that you would see the audience turn on me. That was the moment the audience would go, oh, he is not even redeemable. And then for the rest of the show, they hated me. And it was my job to continue that hate. And so that was the most fun I would have. Delivering that line was the line because I knew this is where I'm going to get them. And I would deliver it in the smarmiest, slimiest, most disgusting way I could. And one time, one of the rowdier audiences, I walked out. I was like, hey, Bob, I got a good one for you. And I'm like, what do you call a woman who's lost 95% of her intelligence? And Bob says, I don't know what. And this woman in the audience goes, you call her a man. And then I turn in her direction and I'm like, you call her divorced from a man. And she lost it. You just heard the disgust she felt for me. And then I walked off stage. And that was the moment that they would turn on me. And that's when the show became fun. That's when the character becomes fun, is once that happens. Because at this point, I am now disgusting. This joke I was told was written by Retro. That's when they would realize I was disgusting, irredeemable, and there was nothing but hate for me. And then, as the show progressed and I finally got destroyed, they would all cheer for the fact that I lost everything. So then I had to have the fun in becoming completely off my rocker by the end of the show. And so that journey is so much fun. Getting them to hate you is so much fun. Hearing the jeering is so much fun. And hearing the cheers that the women got when they stood up to me was so much fun. And what I was saying about finding the spark, at the end of the night, I was the last bow before the three women would come out because I was the fourth star of the show. I was the last bow before the three women. And I would bow and would get the same amount of applause as pretty much everybody else in the cast. And then the three women would come out and they would get the uproar and it would get loud and everybody would be standing up and it would be amazing because they deserved every second of it. And the spark, the moment I realized the spark was back, was I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel bad about them getting 10 times more applause than I ever did. Me not getting a single person to stand up when I came out. Nobody cheered except for my brother the one time. Nobody really cheered for me when I stepped out for my bow. And I didn't feel bad about it. And that's when I was like, the spark is back. I'm part of a collective and it's not about me. It's about the show. And it's about my friends and them getting their moment because damn it, they rocked the show. That's when I knew. So the same way that I knew when the audience would hate me, that was the moment I knew when this is where I'm meant to be. It was cool. It was a really cool feeling. But yes, anyways, I should get out of here. I got to get myself going. I got to make some dinner. I got to answer some texts. I should probably talk to Nora. I haven't talked to her in a few days. And then I got to start working on my computer stuff. I don't want to do that. And I got to think of what game we're going to play because I don't know what we're going to play for the next stream. And I'm not streaming tomorrow because I want to record my Minecraft video. I haven't done it and I need to do it. I wanted to do it today, but because I didn't stream yesterday, I decided to stream today. So I'm going to be doing Minecraft tomorrow, but I will be streaming the next day. What day are we in? Because I don't even know what day it is right now. Is it Wednesday or is it Tuesday? Is it Wednesday or is it Tuesday? Are you not going to show me, computer? Of course you're not. Oh, yep, you are. It is Tuesday. Okay, so Thursday I'll be back. I will be back Thursday. I will hopefully decide what game we're going to play, and we will play something on Thursday, and we'll get back to the regularly scheduled program. Hopefully by this weekend, my Minecraft video will be up, and then we can kind of get back there. If you want to follow my Minecraft video, it is retro FTFT. No, retro. Yeah. Is it retro FTFT or retro RFTFT? I don't know. One of the two. But yeah, that's the plan. Thank you everybody for hanging out. I really appreciate you all being here. Yeah, Night Owl. I'm surprised that it did so. I'm kind of bummed out that I didn't do more videos during my time off, but I had no energy. But yes, thank you, Ty. Thank you, man. I had a lot of fun. And it only got better after that. You saw like the bottom of it. I kind of wish you would have been able to see the other ones. But if you take part in the Discord thing, you'll see it, because the recording I'm going to use is going to be closing night. You're going to see like the peak of it. Oh my god, the double Ks. Oh my gosh. I'd like to take those double Ks. That's amazing. I don't think I have either of them on Discord, but I'll start like a little group, or I'll do a channel or something. I don't know. I'll figure something out, but we'll do something. I'm going to need a few days to edit this because I want to make it look decent. But yes, everybody, thank you all for being here. Night Owl, have yourself a great rest of your night. Everybody else, have a good evening or morning or night or wherever you are, whatever time zone you're in. Thank you, everybody. You are all amazing, and I'm really glad to be back. I will see you all soon. All right, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.